Classic car chasing's public face, Wayne Karini, is widely considered a legend among vintage automobile enthusiasts. Carini has become a worldwide name among car fans, thanks to his work restoring rare classics to their former glory and recovering lost gems from dusty barns. However, not everyone is delighted with the impact of his rising popularity, even though millions respect his expertise and devotion. His detractors in the classic vehicle community have been vocalizing their dissatisfaction with him for some time now, claiming that he has distorted the market, put money before of everything else, and turned off regular collectors. Wayne Karini's vast platform has unquestionably raised the profile of classic and rare cars over the years. By pursuing old cars, he brought attention to the history and craftsmanship of vehicles that were previously ignored by the public. Rising market prices, however, are an unforeseen effect of this increased exposure. A lot of vehicle collectors think that when a car is featured on the show, its value usually goes up since more people want to acquire it. For example, some lifelong fans feel priced out of the market because an affordable classic could suddenly become unaffordable as it obtains exposure to a wealthier audience. Although not solely caused by Wayne Karini, this occurrence continues to annoy me. Some in the community have pointed out that Carini's clientele tend to be well off, since the store specializes in selling quality classics that are in short supply. Consequently, they claim, the hobby is being taken over by individuals who can see these automobiles as investments, rather than the typical hobbyist who restores them for fun. Because of this, people are wondering if Carini's impact has made the divide between wealthy collectors and regular people who enjoy old automobiles even wider. It is hard to overlook Wayne Karini's impact on the modern vintage automobile market, even though he has not publicly responded to these particular complaints. Many people are debating whether his work has increased interest in these vehicles or has further polarized an already cutthroat industry. The passion and dedication that Wayne Karini has always had for restoring old cars has been the driving force behind his profession. Still, not everyone agrees with this part of his work. Classic car enthusiasts who watch Chasing Classic Cars have voiced their disapproval at the show's portrayal of restored and authentic autos. Repetitive criticisms point out that restorations may occasionally put expediency ahead of historical accuracy, because to the pressure to fulfill television production deadlines. Some people think that the introduction of new materials or specific techniques in restoration projects dilutes the car's original character and makes it less unique. Traditional collectors have a strong conviction that historic cars should be as faithful to their era as possible, regardless of the cost to performance or aesthetics. This is where these issues originate. In addition, there are many who think the show's showcase of immaculate restorations is more aimed at investment buyers than at true aficionados, who value the unique history of each vehicle and its flaws. This conflict exemplifies the gulf between the car-valuing commodity crowd and the car historical relics crowd. But many who defend Carini say that his work keeps classic cars from vanishing forever. According to them, his method does double duty. It preserves these cars for future generations to enjoy, and more importantly, it brings their history to a wider audience. Even if it's just slightly updated, many people still prefer to restore their old cars rather than let them rust in a garage. Carini is at a fascinating crossroads because of this continuing discussion. Is it more important to restore an automobile to its original state, free of flaws that make it unique, or to make it flawless for today's collectors? A lot of people find that his impact is just right. Some see it as the commercialization of an inherently private experience. Wayne Karini has been the target of many complaints, but one of the most common is that his efforts have helped bring the classic vehicle hobby into the mainstream. What was once an enjoyable hobby for some longtime collectors has become a cutthroat industry with inflated prices and high-stakes transactions, which they attribute in part to Carini. The hobby's critics claim that Carini's rising star has taken the spotlight off of them, seems to be driven more by commercial gain than by a genuine passion for vintage automobiles. They bring up the fact that on Chasing Classic Cars, he is more interested in selling the vehicles to affluent people who can turn them into investments than he is in selling them to regular people who restore cars for fun. They argue that this has further isolated the hobby from the general public and made it less appealing to people who value the history and artistry of vintage cars. Carini has taken note of the business's financial aspects. He has previously stated in interviews that the purchase and sale of automobiles is essential to the survival of his restoration firm and the industry at large. His statement demonstrated a pragmatic view of the meeting point of passion and commerce. He explained that this was how he made his living. Some purists feel that Carini is sacrificing the essence of the hobby for financial gain, even if the company doesn't deny that it's a business. A more generalized inquiry regarding the trajectory of the historic automobile industry is the focal point of this discussion. Is it possible to balance the increasing focus on profit and exclusivity with the love for preserving and commemorating the heritage of automobiles? Although Carini keeps showcasing amazing restorations and sales, he has unintentionally created debates about whether the pastime is losing its essence. Some feel that the wider community component of chasing old automobiles has suffered as a result of Wayne Karini's success, even though he has pushed the world of classic cars into the spotlight. Instead of praising the regular people who are the foundation of the automotive culture, critics say the show has moved its attention throughout the years to Carini's personal story and her relationships with wealthy collectors. Many people think Carini's show shows bias toward her rich clientele, as so many of the featured cars belong to or were purchased by very wealthy people. Some think this narrow emphasis leaves out serious automobile enthusiasts who can't afford to buy into million-dollar restorations or compete at high-end auctions. Some have said that this makes the hobby seem more exclusive and out of reach for newbies or those on a tighter budget, and that the show contributes to this impression. Some members of the community have also voiced their disapproval of the show's centrality of Carini's personality. Although his knowledge and enthusiasm are indisputable, some feel that Chasing Classic Cars puts too much emphasis on his celebrity status and not enough on the hobby as a whole, showcasing his successes rather than the joint work of mechanics, restorers, and casual collectors who sustain car culture. The impact and reach of Carini's network, however, are nevertheless impossible to ignore. Also, according to his backers, classic cars are now more popular than ever before because to his platform. But the question remains for those who are critical of his approach. Has the limelight on Wayne Karini unintentionally taken attention away from the fundamental hallmark of the antique vehicle community, the shared love and enthusiasm of its members? The classic vehicle community has benefited more from Wayne Karini's contributions than it has suffered, according to his supporters. Inspiring new fans and revealing the history and artistry behind long-lost treasures, his pursuit of historic cars has brought these vehicles to a worldwide audience. Many historic vehicles would have perished or been left for dead if he hadn't done his job. Even Carini has spoken out against his detractors, realizing that selling automobiles is important to his company and his ability to thrive in a cutthroat industry. In interviews, he emphasized his commitment on preserving history, rather than just seeking profit, saying that it's not only about the automobiles, but about the stories behind them. Furthermore, many argue that larger market patterns, such as increasing demand and worldwide attention, are more significant than any one person or show when it comes to price increases. The impact of Carini guarantees that old automobiles will always be a beloved pastime, not a niche that gets forgotten, according to his followers.